Aftercare, a guide to safely caring for others and yourself after kinky play, presented by DeepInMind, made for Darknosis, a Discord hypno kink community. What is aftercare? Aftercare is the act of providing care, companionship, and support after a kink play session. It can be a physical act such as cuddling, or an activity such as watching a movie. It can even be sharing supportive words of encouragement and appreciation. When we're talking about hypno kink, the focus for aftercare is going to be on emotional and mental care. This is because in hypno kink, we primarily play with the mind. Aftercare is an essential part of play. It is non-negotiable. Why is aftercare needed? After intense play, the hormonal high of the session is left behind, and your mind and your body now must adjust to what's normal. Depersonalizing play such as stultification, drone play, objectification, bimbo play, or any other kind of depersonalized, reality-altering play need time and reassurance to humanize the play partners after. Aftercare gives time to assess if everything is okay and to check for abreactions. Just remember, feedback can wait. Aftercare comes first. Even if you feel like you have to say something about how something was performed or not performed, wait until later on when the time is more appropriate. Aftercare reduces the risk of drops, such as sub-drop or dom drop. Easing out of play prevents addiction, avoiding frenzies and other unsafe attachments. Aftercare is especially important after edge play, such as fear play, consensual non-consent, consensual gaslighting, or any other play that involves strong emotional reactions, or again, reality-altering situations. Negotiating aftercare. Most important, remember, preparation prevents problems. Talk with your play partner. Communication is the foundation of all safe play, not just for aftercare. As the subject, discuss that you need aftercare after a session and ensure that your partner is aware of this and sets aside adequate time. As the hypnotist, do not engage in play unless prepared to aftercare your subject. This means setting aside at least 30 minutes to an hour after the session concludes. This can be reduced to 15 minutes if you're doing something strictly relaxation or sleep or any other mild form of trance. Come prepared. Share your aftercare kit to help communicate your needs. How do I aftercare? Step 1. Check in. Ask how they feel. Wait at least 15 minutes to assess, and set aside space to calm and communicate. Step 2. Ask. Pick something on their kit. Ask if they'd like to do it, and try to keep things simple. Remember, for most people, coming out of a state of trance, especially something intense, can be bewildering, confusing, and it's best to just keep things simple and relaxed and reduce the number of choices to keep things easy. Step 3. Be real. Remind them that they're important and that they did a good job. Praise humanizes. and it also helps to ease out of the hormonal high. Step 4. Ensure. Ensure that they're okay before ending aftercare. Be clear on when or if they can communicate with you later and what to do if they can't get in touch, whether that means finding someone else that they can turn to that they trust, or whether there's a time later on that they can communicate with you or how. This is important to make sure that if anything happens or down the line they feel differently, that they have a way to be able to discuss it and give you an opportunity to help if you can. What is an aftercare kit, and why is it important? An aftercare kit is a collection of items, activities, ideas, and advice on how you best receive comfort after play. And having an aftercare kit is essential, as when you're coming out of play, you'll very likely be unable to think properly, and you might feel very fuzzy or confused at the least. So having something prepared ahead of time can make it easier. Share your kit with your play partner before starting play if possible, or at least have it easily accessible in case you engage in C&C, aka consensual non-consensual play. Your aftercare kit is always evolving. You may add or remove items from it as you see fit. It's all right to change it as often as you like. Remember, these are things for you and what brings you comfort, and that may change. An aftercare kit is an essential part of being a safe subject to play with. But also remember, doms and tops can have aftercare kits as well. How to make an aftercare kit. Make sure to add items that are comforting to you. And these can be physical items such as soft blankets, sweet treats, scented soap, soothing music, your favorite stuffy, or even something as simple as a bubble bath bomb. You can also add activities such as your favorite movies, telling jokes to each other, massage, playing video games, sharing interests, or just having a talk and receiving reassurance and praise. Remember to write down what works for you. Be specific and update often. Use lots of detail and be clear. And keep updating as you learn more about what comforts you. It's okay if you don't have a lot to write to begin with. And categorize by senses. This helps to divide into your senses things that are comforting to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch. Engaging all of your senses helps to bring you back to reality and ground you, and also can be comforting on many different levels. What to do when there's no aftercare? Assert. Remember that aftercare is a right, not a privilege. You've loaned your mind out to be played with, and it deserves to be returned with care. Discuss with supportive friends if you can, and reach out to them as a last resort if nothing else works. Use the aftercare ping on Darknosis, but again, only if the hypnotist is completely unavailable. It's their responsibility because they perform the session with you. Don't worry just yet about reporting. Remember to take care of your needs first. There will always be a time after. To support a friend in need, help them first. Then you can assess what happened when they feel better. Remember, this is stressful, and it's important to be comforting and supportive first. When all else fails, be prepared to self-care. And remind yourself that it's not your fault. There's no circumstance in which withholding or failing to aftercare is appropriate. Remember, aftercare is non-negotiable. And when you are feeling better, assess whether you're willing to trust somebody who left you without aftercare. Unless there's an actual emergency, there's little to no excuse. So be mindful when assessing whether you want to continue to work with that person. And for hypnotists, always be sure that you have adequate time and energy to perform aftercare before starting a session. Failure to do so is selfish. And have a backup plan ready in case an emergency happens. Is there somebody that you trust that you can act to step in as a sitter if needed? And keep in mind that you are responsible for anything the sitter does, so make sure that they're trustworthy. Always wait at least 15 minutes after a session to assess. This is because, for the majority of people, 15 minutes is how long it takes to fully awaken and become conscious after a session. It may take longer, but generally does not take shorter. Self-care basics. Remember to know thyself. Do you like bubble baths, music, old movies, video games, a brisk run? What do you do when you need to unwind? What comforts you? Acts of affirmation. Remember to treat yourself. Write out 10 reasons why you are amazing. Buy yourself something nice. Binge watch your favorite show. Remember that you're worth it. And remember to care for yourself, even outside of aftercare. There's nobody else like you, and you should appreciate all that you have to offer. Write it down. Don't wait until you need it. Take some time, even right after listening to this, and write down what you enjoy so that when later on, if you can't think about it or you feel anxious, you can just simply pick from your list. Part 2. Drops, frenzies, and abreactions. What can go wrong, and what you can do. What is an abreaction? An abreaction is the expression and consequent release of a previously repressed emotion, achieved through reliving the experience that caused it, and this is typically through hypnosis or suggestion. Now, remember that abreactions are automatic. They're not intentional, and often the subject experiencing an abreaction is unaware. Due to the nature of the subconscious, the trigger may not even be clear. You may not know what caused it. Remember that we're not professionals. As hypno-kinksters, it's best to just immediately wake them, offer as much comfort and reassurance as you can, and stay on as long as you can. Many abreactions are a result of trauma, which must be handled with care and by mental health professionals only. And plan. Do they need professional intervention? Are they safe? Is there somebody they can contact? You may not have expected this to happen, but do as much as you can to make the situation for them as safe as possible. What is subdrop? It's an emotional and physical low that begins anywhere from a few hours to even a few days after an emotional endorphin high, and can last hours to weeks. Because of the delay, a subject experiencing subdrop might not even realize that they are. Aftercare can help to ease out of play, which reduces the emotional whiplash that results in subdrop. But remember, even with all the precautions, subdrop may still be experienced. And it's far more common in established dynamics than just a regular pickup play. Ending a dynamic without proper debriefing is almost guaranteed to result in sub-drop, regardless of the duration of the dynamic. Keep this in mind when engaging in play over a longer period of time. What can I do to prevent sub-drop? Proper aftercare is the best way to be proactive. And always be sure to remind the subject that you appreciate them, that they did a good job, and that they're worthy of care and support. Checking in periodically after also helps to see how they are doing and to make them feel cared for. Remember that sometimes you cannot prevent all cases of sub-drop. Do your best to be there as you can. And ask if they've experienced sub-drop before and what they've done in the past that has helped, or what somebody else has done to help. This can give you a better idea of what you could possibly do. And what about tops? Do they get drops? Yes. While distinct from a sub-drop, tops can be just as prone to a period of emotional and physical lows following an intense session. For tops, it's frequently experienced as an internal conflict with the stigma and the self-esteem of the play. Feelings of being a horrible person, evil, or perverse for causing or inflicting pain or depersonalization can all take toll on a top, even though the subject is enjoying the experience as well. In addition, there's a great risk of fatigue and burnout. Topping can be exhausting, as being in charge requires mental, emotional, and physical self-control and effort. And it is soothing for tops to receive clear feedback from the subject that what they did was wanted, received, and appreciated. In longer-term dynamics, it can also be very helpful for the top to receive feedback that what they're doing is being helpful and received by the subject positively. And what is a sub-frenzy? Although frequently attributed to somebody new to kink and experiencing the impulsive rush to do everything all at once, sub-frenzy can also refer to an advanced stage of sub-drop, in which a subject becomes desperate to replace the emotional lows of a drop by rebounding into more intense play. And this becomes a cycle, not unlike a drug addiction, where the space between play triggers a worsening drop, which to them only appears to be remedied by engaging in increasingly intense and risky play, thus simulating the high once again. Remedies are extended support and aftercare, and potentially abstinence from all play until recovered from this drop. What are common signs of frenzy? Remember, while the following are common signs of a sub-frenzy, please keep in mind that not everyone participating in these behaviors is doing it to an extreme of it being harmful, nor would they be experiencing frenzy. These are just guidelines and signs to look out for. It is the responsibility of the top to choose not to engage frenzy behavior. If you recognize that somebody is experiencing a frenzy and you feel tempted to engage in playing with them, it doesn't matter if the consent is given if you know the sub is at frenzy, because you'll be contributing to a condition that they themselves cannot help. Excessive enthusiasm. They'll be eager to try everything all at once, and everything seems new, fresh, or exciting. And there's a strong willingness to try anything without prior consideration to its safety or whether they would enjoy it. Desperation. The sub in a sub frenzy cannot be without a play partner, without feeling anxious or depressed, and thus accepts less standards in the play partners than before, and may be engaging in play for the sole reason of not to be alone, rather than for any enjoyment that it could get out of it. Carelessness. Risky behavior, failure to follow safeties, or accepting subpar treatment such as lack of aftercare. There seems to be no concern or care for oneself, as the sole purpose of the frenzy is to seek out a high to replace the emotional lows from the drop. They may seek out dangerous play partners or dangerous play on purpose, as self-esteem might be very low. Long-term dynamics and debriefing. Remember that subdrop and frenzies are far more common in established dynamics. Hypnosis especially may facilitate quicker rapport and trust between individuals that typically would not have been established at the same pace without. Thus, even a short-term dynamic may be experienced subconsciously and emotionally like a long-term relationship when hypnosis is frequently experienced and performed between partners. Ending a dynamic suddenly, even after a few sessions, may be catastrophic for those involved, and even that result in severe drops. Remember to treat all of your hypnotic dynamics seriously. And if you're going to end one, if you need to, remember how to debrief. Regardless of circumstances, treat your partner with respect as a human, even if you have to end things. Clearly explain what is changing and how soon. Unless there's a very serious need to end things immediately, such as with illegal or abusive behavior, give time to wean down the connection. Deconditioning is a must, even if only a few sessions have been performed. Remove all of your triggers, influences, and anything else that you've implanted into their mind, and do so in a way that does not place responsibility or focus on anything else but the deconditioning. This means do not mention the reasons why things are terminating, or bring up anything else that might be triggering during the deconditioning session. Most importantly, under no circumstance include any suggestions to reopen or revive your triggers or influence in the future, regardless if you've given them the choice to do so or not. This gives mixed messages and is actually extremely harmful to the debriefing process. To recap, aftercare is an essential part of all kink play. It is non-negotiable. It is important to communicate with your partner and share your aftercare kit that you've prepared. Even with the best of preparations, sometimes things go wrong. That's the risk that we all take with hypno-kink play. And remember to educate yourself on how to self-care, how to respond to abreactions, how to handle drops and support through frenzies, and properly disengage and debrief from all dynamics that you have to end, and take responsibility for how you've affected others, even if you unintentionally harmed them. Remember that you're human, and that it's okay to need care and support. In fact, it's normal. And do your best to be understanding of others, including when they are not able at the time to be understanding of you. If you've never experienced an abreaction, a drop, or a frenzy, it could be hard to understand what somebody is going through. Keep in mind that nobody wants to go through that. and nobody does it on purpose. Be kind. And most importantly, don't forget to self-care. Even if you're not having a drop, regularly go through your aftercare kit, and picking out self-care activities to do can be incredibly helpful to reconnect to you. And that's sexy. And that's all that we have for this lecture, but feel free to drop us a line with any questions or comments that you might have. If you'd like to stay in touch, you can join our Discord community, and you can send me a DM personally as well. Let me know what you think.